what was out there in the night sky, stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there is life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? If you have, you were on the fringe.
Welcome to another episode of On the Fringe. I'm Mark.
I'm Philip.
I'm Pam.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm Enzo.
Yay!
Enzo the Great.
We all did that really well.
Well, tonight, folks, we are here to discuss this weekend's Bordertown ParaCon in Caney, Kansas, and all of the fun that we had, and whatever else happens to come up. We might talk Jess into playing the Notebook game for a little while.
I don't know.
We'll have to speak talk her, but we're gonna try. And
I don't know. I'd have to go and get like a shit ton of like notebooks.
Notebooks. Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't find them though.
International.
Yeah,
It's also International Podcast Day.
Yeah.
So,
Yay!
podcasting
Woohoo!
on International Podcast Day. Woohoo!
That's right.
Nice.
Happy Podcast Day.
Yeah.
Yay!
Happy
Hey,
Podcast
Sylvian.
Day.
And there you go.
Hi, Sylvain.
Hi, Sylvain. And happy October Eve.
It is
And
October
Enzo
Eve.
is well dressed for the occasion.
I'm ready.
Mhm.
Let
Yes,
the spooky season begin.
He's looking handsome. though.
Absolutely.
Looking handsome.
Taking my hover chair through the spooky forest.
I was going to say, that looks like you're in a hover chair in a forest.
Are you like
That's awesome.
Baron Harkonnen there? Is that what are we doing?
Hey,
You said you had a good lecture for the
Awesome.
presentation, Enzo.
thank you so
We
much.
Yay.
Had a lot of people watching online, both on the Facebook
Did.
I did.
page and on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and share, and get it out to everybody so everybody can enjoy it. That being said, it was just a good day. I was unfortunately only able to be there half a day, but the half a day I was there, it was fantastic.
Mhm.
So we had cryptid specialists, we had UFOologists, we had ghost hunters, we had authors and psychics,
Podcast personalities.
podcast
That's
personalities,
right.
a
Yep.
whole bunch of podcast.
Saving the best for last,
Yep.
weren't they, Phil?
I'm not sure that there might have been as many podcast personalities as there was the public. I'm not sure. It's
There
There was
amazing.
quite a few of us there, yeah.
I can
There
think of at
was.
least 8 or 10.
Well, all of Amok was there. All of the Fringe was there. All of Bordertown Strange was there. And then Robert Prevost was there. Shaw was there. Yeah.
Yep.
Jason Roberts.
Jason Roberts.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of us there.
There was a bunch of us there. Yeah.
Yep. The Red Dirt Cryptid guys. that
Oh,
run their
yeah. Shoot.
The Red Dirt
podcast.
guys. were there.
And Lisa Martin, Dark Ozarks was there.
Yeah. Lisa and Alex were there.
Yep.
Yep.
And those crazy On the Fringe, What If Tomorrow, and Bordertown Strange people. They're so weird.
Yeah.
But I kind of like them.
They're
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
a little
they're kinda
little odd.
A little odd.
And if you can't tell, we're not as animated as usual. I think we're all just a little exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of myself. I only spent $50 or $60 on books.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh,
not
congratulations.
They've spent a bit more than that.
I
Yeah.
was trying to budget myself. Had I been there all day, I probably would have bought all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent some money on books too. You can't help
Fortunately,
it.
Plus,
I know they were good and they had good deals on them.
there
Mhm.
Oh yeah. especially for like signed copies.
Yeah, there's
of
a bunch
stuff.
of vendors there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were, Phil. There were a bunch of vendors there. There was a lot of neat stuff.
We had
I
3D
noticed that when I walked,
printers.
because I walked in late, because I had a soccer game set, that morning.
And you guys
I came
won, is that right?
afterwards, And yeah, I couldn't. We did 4-0.
Yay!
Yay.
Good deal.
But yeah, I mean, I was blown away just by the number of vendors. Because last year we had just a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and this year they were everywhere.
Yeah, we had room for 2 more rows, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, you guys are gonna have to upgrade the venue before long. Keep it going.
No, I
don't
think
know how
it's
to do
just about
that.
right. I think it's just about right. We get up to about 250 people and fill those last 2 rows of vendors. It's going to be a hell of a shindig.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
We had-
I was actually expecting a slightly less crowd size because the economy's not so great right now, and it's
Right.
gas is kind of expensive to go cross country to go visit your favorite ParaCon. But
Yeah.
Numbers wise, I think we were at, even if not a tad higher, I think than we were last
Yeah.
year. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Very
we were,
close.
Yeah, we were a little higher, and we were free. So
yeah, we're a free
Mhm.
ParaCon.
we're a budget-friendly con.
That's
Does that make us sound cheap? Does that make
We'll
us
call
sound
it
cheap? We
Budget
didn't
Con,
say it like that.
We'll leave the
Budget
light on
con.
for you.
ParaCon 6. Oh, that actually sounds pretty good. ParaCon 6.
Yeah, and
Funny.
so like we had a few issues at the door and getting counts made correctly. The last that I counted, we were right around 150, but we know for certain there was more than that.
Yeah,
Now,
the door
how
was
much
left unattended
more?
for over an hour. So
Yeah. So, I mean, there could have been an extra 10, 20,
30 people,
maybe even more that should be on there.
Yeah.
So, and I know that that happened in the afternoon, and that's when it really picked up for us, of course, because Christy Campbell was doing her floor reading. And that's how it always is. I don't know if it is like that at other cons, but usually after lunch hits, that's when it really picks up. So,
well, we get a lot of
that
come and go traffic anyway,
We do,
because
yeah.
it's just where we're at. So people come, they leave, they come back, and so there's always about the same amount of people there. But when you get to looking, they're different people than there were there.
Yeah,
an hour
that's
ago.
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did notice that a lot. And there were a lot of new faces from what we had last year. And I thought that was really cool too.
Yep.
Right. And I think the only thing holding us back from really growing is probably getting the word out. We've just got to probably start sooner with trying to get the word out, I guess. Like maybe today.
Well, get on it, sir. That's your new job.
I've got ideas. We'll talk about them.
Because these chicks need some sleep, man.
I don't need any more
yeah.
jobs in my lap. I just need a break.
I will.
I'm
say
already
when I got
budgeting
there-
out technology upgrades so that we don't have
Nice.
technology problems this next year.
Yay. Oh, and I found the info that I needed for what we were discussing, Mark. So I'll try to get those upgraded and see if they will work. And if they do, we may be ahead of the game.
And I've got one here that I can upgrade. That I'm going to upgrade this week to Windows 11. So
It would not hurt us a bit to have at least a backup a piece for each of them. So
no,
if we can do it.
I think even with the issues that we had this year, we were able to navigate our way through and rectify it rather quickly, I felt.
well, except for the fact that Pam and I both forgot to restart a computer, and we had like an hour and a half of pulling what little hair I had left out of
I'm
my
surprised I have hair left.
head. And you try turning it off and on. Screw you, asshole.
IT 101. IT 101. Right, exactly. Well, we started working on it, Mark, about 8 o'clock in the
About
7:45, 7:30, somewhere in there. It was early. And it was like we were within like 6 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes
They were
before
calling
the
people
whole
back
thing
for the
started.
talk, yeah.
Before it worked. I just went after we got it running, I was like, I'm gonna go take a break for a minute. Went and had a mild panic attack.
Speaking of technology, We should totally like put a shout out to Bargain Center and Independence for allowing us the use of
110%.
that jumbo screen TV for the day. So
They
if you
really
didn't
came
get
through for us.
yeah,
They
if you didn't get
did.
to come to the con, you should get up and check out the panels that were recorded, because we had this fabulous big screen TV that we got to do the presentations on and ran the ads for everyone all day long. And it just looked so nice and professional up there.
It is.
Crystal clear.
Crystal clear, beautiful. And they also gave us tons of giveaways, and we did whole bags of giveaways all day long. We did quizzes and gave away big, huge bags of Bargain Center merchandise, and ever so thankful for them. I'm hoping that they will afford us that again next year.
One of the funniest parts of the day.
Plus years.
One of the funniest parts of the day was when Jess would say, okay, here's the next question. And the first person, don't shout it out. You need to run over there to this table. And the first one there with the right answer wins. And she would say the question and people would be just like, taking off. And one of the answers was chupacabra. And I can't remember. How did that go? What all did she say?
So it just so happened that my daughter Raven was heading up the table at that time. And I went over to make sure that, they had given the correct answer and the bag had gone out like it was. And she was laughing so hard. And I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, the lady who came with the answer couldn't remember how to pronounce chupacabra. And she said it's something like Koopa Chabre or something like that, or Koopa Hoopa or something like that. And she said it like 4 times trying to get it out. And she said it differently every time. It was like Hoopa Chupa, Chupa Chupa. And my daughter was he took mercy on her and was like, you got it. It's chupacabra. And this lady was like, that's it.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
He's got some pictures from the cookout if you guys.
Absolutely.
Great.
Send them our way.
For sure.
We're in the process now, like any of you at home, that if you went to the con and you got some great pictures or some funny pictures, send them our way, because we're going to start compiling a big album that we'll release so everybody can see just all the fun that we have throughout the day. I have some candid photos, and we're just going to put them all together and let everybody see how the con went.
I know Ken.
Well, my phone broke now, so.
I know Ken put some up on Facebook too.
He did, yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I posted the ones that I had too. So yeah, it was great. It was every year just gets better and better.
Including our videos, if you go online to YouTube or our Facebook page, the videos turned out a lot better audio quality this year. So you'll be able to actually hear what everybody's saying, as opposed to years past where the mic just wasn't up to snuff. So we did make some improvements there, and we'll continue to make improvements over the years. I want to see this become an event that's talked about all over the Fort State area. So,
we had people come. So one of our presenters, he was from Pocahontas, Arkansas, which is about 6.5 hours away. And then Ken Romeller, he's from St. Louis, Missouri. He's about 6 hours away. And then like Adrian and Tina, they're from Fort Smith, Arkansas. They're about 3.5 hours. So there was people that were putting in some serious travel time to get here.
Yeah, we had people come down from. Yep,
that's when he went through the chair.
Yeah,
that's
my oldest
hilarious.
Fell through the chair. I gotta throw that up first.
So for
Levi.
those of you who are watching or listening, so because we have so many that come in from far away, and we do not pay our speakers to come in, because this is really like a retreat or a networking day for all of us. With the public invited as the afterthought. So we don't pay them. We don't fly them in. We don't schlep them around and give them fancy hotel rooms and stuff. They kind of do this on their own dime. So to afford them something fun to do for the evening before, when they've had to come in and get hotel rooms, Phil is nice enough. He hosts a big, huge cookout and barbecue kind of thing out at his house with a campfire. And we all just sit around and eat fantastic food. And we visit and we tell spooky stories and funny stories from our investigations or our field investigations. And new speakers get to know old speakers and vice versa. And we just have a fantastic time. And then we get to watch, Phil's son fall through an old chair.
Darn it.
We all heard this rip sound long. We just saw him sink. We all knew exactly what happened. Like,
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, Ken got some
I
great
guess you're stuck
pictures.
like that for the rest of the night, Levi.
Yeah. Ken did get some good pictures. Yeah, it's just a fun way for us to all get to know each other, which is good because we throw these people from varying fields in on these panels together where they're going to have to debate. And it's always better when you go in already knowing the person a little bit. So we don't want fights to break out, that happens sometimes.
Right.
So healthy debate starts with a little bit of friendship underneath of it. So we get everybody together and, give them a little bit of alcohol and some fantastic smoked chicken.
That chicken's
Levi, I
the
don't know
best.
who made that corn dish, but I want to find out who it is and get the recipe. It was amazing.
The
That's
corn
good.
dish.
I may have hurt myself eating a third
we
helping.
What kind of bowl was
Yeah.
it in? Do you remember?
It wasn't a Tupperware bowl.
That second batch of
Was it green? A green
Green
Tupperware?
Tupperware bowl.
I made that.
You made that.
I made that.
You don't know what dish you made? You're asking
Well,
what the corn
I
dish
didn't
was?
know if there was another corn dish there.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I call it a cucumber salad, so
know.
but it does have sweet corn in it.
I love you, Pam.
Yay, I'll get you the recipe.
Right now,
It's
you're my
super
favorite
good.
sister.
Well, aw. Your other sister's sitting
Yeah,
right
Levi
here,
said
man.
She's my other
if we
favorite
need a
sister.
chair that's on its way out, need to break it down, let him know.
He's our man.
Every time,
Put it down.
every
Well,
time
if anything,
we
he was
have
the
a
comic
get-together
relief
at the
that
house-
night. So
Yeah,
Oh, Levi said the one that he
Every
likes
time we
was
have
in
a
an
get-together at the
aluminum
house.
pan.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I think it was because we had a bunch of leftovers, and since he's single and a bachelor, we sent a bunch with him.
Oh,
There you
perfect.
go.
I had a big pan of chicken left over. We ran out last year, and I hadn't made too much this year, but that's all
Gotta
right.
find an even spot. I ate like
So
3 batches of it.
I sent him a bunch.
well, good
That
deal.
chicken's the bomb, man.
But-
You've got
Yeah,
the
Phil-
chicken down.
Phil can cook. That's for
Phil
sure.
can cook.
Well, I
Philip
appreciate
Knight's
it.
Restaurant and Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
Oh,
as
it
we
was-
saw in those photos,
No, I don't
we
have
were
time for
supposed
that.
to have a little star watch party thing, but
Yes,
it was
darn it.
cloudy and crappy for the whole time. So it's like, I guess
Yeah.
I'll just leave my gear in the truck.
Yep.
Yeah, the
But,
weather was not-
Next year.
Unfortunately, I mean it was
The
beautiful.
temperature was perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
nice.
It
Beautiful
was
night.
beautiful. That breeze underneath those big old trees, those old trees out there, it was
Mhm.
perfect. So, darn
Oh,
the clouds though, but we'll have Enzo do that next year. It will most certainly be clear next year. I can feel it.
Yes.
You're
We'll focus on it.
weather a year in advance. And speaking of a year in advance,
Well-
next year the ParaCon should be on the 27th of
Yes.
September.
Yes, of September. Yep. We've already got the rec center rented for that day. It's ours
Yep.
already. So
Whoop whoop whoop.
Awesome.
Didn't waste any
Yep.
Mark it on
time.
your calendar, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We'll
Well,
put it on
uh,
there. for you.
Chris said
Well,
she
I-
had
well, I didn't
chicken
put off
this
a-
year, and it was everything was hyped up to be.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah.
Well, I
oh,
didn't do
yeah.
a
We
star
talked about it the
show.
whole year.
Well, while I didn't do a star show this year, I did linger around after the show yesterday to make sure the person that won the UFO raffle knew how to use the planosphere that I had donated. 'Cause they were like, I have no idea what this is. And I showed them real quick how it worked. And they were like, this is cool. I'm going to use this right now. And ran outside.
That's awesome.
Speaking of astronomical events, everybody in this part of the country on October 12th, if you go out at sunrise and look to the west on the horizon, you should be able to see the comet that everybody's talking about.
Oh,
It only
nice.
comes around every 87,000 years.
oh,
So it is literally a once in a lifetime event, even if you're a vampire, because I don't even think vampires live that long.
Chris.
Yeah. Mark couldn't be there because
Dirty
his
Letter single
son
child
got
knows they're busy that day.
married.
No wedding.
Yep. And
Yep.
I told his beautiful wife on the way out from the ceremony, he's yours now. No take backs.
No takesy backsies.
No
You're
take
stuck.
backs. You broke him, you bought him.
There you go.
It's awesome.
Right. So let's
Hello,
talk
Jackie.
about some of the stuff that went on
Hi, Jackie.
Oh yeah.
at the
I mean,
con. So
was
the
great.
presentations this year were fantastic.
They were.
Jeff Provine did his Ghost Children, and of course that's always super spooky. How can a ghost kid not creep you the heck out? And he is such a hoot anyway. I don't know if you guys saw, did you see the post he did earlier about they found a huge fairy ring on the OU campus and showed him, and there's a bench in the middle of it, and he said something to the effect that, well, whoever sat down on that bench just got sucked off to the fae. And now they're paying their penance over there in strange riddles.
How funny.
Yeah, he posted a
That's
picture of
funny.
it. It was so funny.
My niece came to the con with us, and she was absolutely enraptured with Jeff's presentation.
Wow, it was good.
Yeah. He's super interesting. He's just an interesting kid. I say kid. He's an English professor at
Grown-ass adult, yeah.
Tulsa College.
He had
So
a whole box full. I think I bought 4 of his books yesterday.
I stayed away
Did
from
you? He's got
it
some
because
good
I
titles.
I would not have paid my house payment. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah. He's got so many fantastic books. And for those of you at home who are interested, if you go to jeffprovine.com, you can get all of his books on there, and he will actually sign them for you if you order through jeffprovine.com instead of Amazon. Just request it, and he will sign the crud out of those if you would like. He loves doing that. That's another great thing about coming to the con is I think we had 4 or 5 authors there this year, and they will all quite willingly sit there and chit chat with you about their books and sign them for you or dedicate them to someone. They're all just wonderful people.
They
So
were
personable.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They were absolutely
And
fantastic.
then we had Ken Rollmuller, who did Boneyards and all the cemetery lore. And of course, people love that because who doesn't love creepy cemetery stuff? And Ken and his horrible dad jokes just kind of tops it off.
Boy,
They're not
those
so
were
horrible. I'm
stinkers.
stealing half of them, so well, I guess that means they are horrible. I've never met a dad joke I didn't like.
What were you saying, Enzo?
There were so many times it's like I just want to push my little button. You know,
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. A lot of groans.
those were pretty
A lot of
bad.
groans.
Yeah.
Those were the good ones.
Yeah, and then of course Christy Campbell's. She's always a star. She's just so interesting. Everything she has to say, there's just such an interesting aspect to it. You can't help but just kind of hang on every word she says. And she also did something very special for this year. She did an open floor reading for half an hour, absolutely for free. And it was fantastic. In fact, that was one of our largest presentations of the day. We had people that came in just for that part.
Yeah,
So
I watched it on
That's
YouTube
awesome.
today, in fact. So,
yeah.
Cool.
so that's the great thing about it. All of our presentations and all of our panels are up on the YouTube channel, and you can get on there and watch them. Like, share, ring that bell. But you too can enjoy the ParaCon from wherever you're at.
So
That's
I
right.
restreamed to my Facebook page, and we've got some people over there. Adrian's over there watching. He was our head moderator for the ghost panel, and he is saying the cookout is the best. So he was really enjoying that too. Phil.
Yay.
Yep. He did an excellent job with his panel, by the way.
He did really good. And then there's Karen, which she watches a lot of our other stuff too. She's in there. And who else? Robin Cullyhow's in there. Yeah. That's it. I was
Cool.
trying
Well,
to tell
hi,
everybody.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So the great thing about Christy, finally, this is the first time she's gotten to do a presentation with us, and then tack that on there. She's usually out in the hallway. She's one of our regular readers. You can go out and have her do readings for you, and she does holistic, or not holistic, she does quantum healing readings and things like that. And she said she actually doubled her business this year because it garnered such interest after she was done. I saw her, I think, right in the middle of the last panel. She was coming in from a break, getting some fresh air, and that girl was wiped out. She had
was.
been rocking it hard all day.
She was
Bless her
exhausted by the
heart.
time they
Yeah.
left.
And she does really good work. She did a healing for me on my knee a few months back, and I noticed a difference, the next day.
Oh,
So
that's great.
It looked like she was doing more healing than she was readings.
Yeah.
I was going to say, almost every time I would pass through that entryway area where she was at, there was always someone laying on the table there getting some work done.
That's cool. That's got to take a lot out of you too.
Yeah.
she is an amazing young lady.
Mm-hmm. And the great thing is that because she got so busy, it kind of garnered a little bit more extra business for our tarot reader and for our astrologist, because everyone was so interested in kind of doing all of those things. It also gave them something else to do kind of while they were waiting for Christy too. So everybody out there made just a killing. So Rachel Patton out of Independence, who graciously took over for Lindsay Miles, our usual tarot reader. Lindsay was unable to make it this year and felt horrible about it, but Rachel stepped right in to make sure that we had a tarot reader. So that was great. And then this year we got really lucky. One of our usual panelists, Clinton Hancock out of Enid, the OPIS team, his sister just happened to be in from New Orleans to visit family, and she is a professional astrologer. And he had felt badly that he was going to miss out visiting with her for a couple days. And he was like, hey, sis, I go to this con every year, and I'm just not going to be here on these couple of days. I can't miss it. And she was like, well, can I tag along? And he was like, well, I don't see why not. And he called me and said, hey, would you all like an astrologer? And I was like, you betcha, bring her along.
Absolutely.
So she was actually Denise Hancock. She was wonderful, and she actually really enjoyed it. She does most of her things professionally online or call-ins. She very rarely does festivals, but she told me that when she does do festivals, there are of course the large ones or the large cons and things like that. And she's like, I'm lucky if I get about 8 readings a day. She did that plus more at ours.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Awesome. And I missed out. If I had a little more time, I was going to stop in for a reading, but I just ran out of time.
That's so cool.
So for her, we outdid the big places that she goes to. She goes, I don't much care doing them, but she goes, here I felt like I got like more one-on-one time. It was a lot more personable. And she goes, I actually got a little bit more business than I do at the big ones. So
That's so cool.
That is absolutely cool. So
Ken's in the other chat, and he said to say great ParaCon and show. So yay. Thank you, Ken.
Yay. Yeah, so moving on. So we were on the presentations. So this year we were lucky enough to have Jim Gray come in, and I'm sure everybody always heard us talk about Jim. He's a gem.
Jim is a gem. You're right.
He is.
He is fantastic.
Mr. UFO Cowboy Supreme.
He is the best.
He's a real cowboy too. I mean,
he is.
A lot of people, he dresses really cool. No, that's just him. That's how he is.
That's what he always wears.
Yeah, it's not a costume.
That's his working clothes.
Yep.
Oh, Ken said that he got readings from all 3, and they were all with similar results. So that's interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, that's good if they were all similar results. That means they're, on the up and up there.
Yeah.
Not that we wouldn't have anybody on the up and up.
Right. I didn't get a reading this year, but I did last year. I had the tarot and and Christy, and they were really similar. And then Jess, your mom paid for my past life experience, my past life
Yeah.
reading and all that, which it was cool. I mean, we had when she was on with us, we had her kind of run down it, but it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I haven't done it yet. I'm so afraid they're going to tell me something I don't want to hear. So, plus, I'm always so busy. I'm usually just a
Right.
streak with a clipboard, so I don't get a lot of time to do that.
I know Jennifer had her past life read, and she said
Yeah.
it was really, really wild. It was really cool.
Cool.
I'd probably find out something really interesting, like you were a sheep farmer. That's it. You died. Wolves ate you.
Yeah. So I had kind of both. You know, one life, I guess I was a gladiator, you know, and
nice.
in another life, I was a farmer, you know, so it was
so
kinda
cool.
It was cool.
Chelsea Ives, are you the one that I spoke to at the con? Let me know. Yeah.
Cool.
think
Phil,
it was one of
didn't she say last year something about you and Andrea had past lives together too, that you met? That is so neat.
It was.
I love that. That is awesome.
She had to put you in another life.
She did,
Goodness.
I know. It's
More
karma.
than one, it sounded like.
She must have bad karma or something.
Oh, I think she's got
It
good
might
karma,
be.
especially if you were making her smoked chicken. So
Right?
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's your smoked chicken.
It is.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty good karma there.
Best smoked chicken in any lifetime.
Right.
That's
Smoked
awesome.
chicken, not drugs.
Right. You know, I
oh
started.
my goodness.
I started smoking at like 8:00 that morning, and that last batch of chicken, I don't know, it was like 6:30 or 7:00 when I pulled it off.
Wow.
Well, we appreciate all the work you put in.
We know, yeah.
And having us out there. I know it can't be easy to have all of a sudden like 35 plus people pile in on your property like that. So
No
You know,
kidding.
it's not bad, really. I think next year I'm going to a little pasture by my driveway. I'm going to mow it down really nice and stack up a bunch of brush and just have a big bonfire.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. Oh, it was Chelsea.
it was
Cool.
her. Yeah, Chelsea. So Chelsea stopped and chit-chatted with me because she's been catching Bordertown Strange and stuff, and is
Awesome.
somehow jealous of my notebooks. And I told her, I was like, sweetie, do not start down that horrible road.
Don't do
You'll
it.
be
Don't
up
do
to your
it.
armpit.
Save yourself.
Notebooks and going insane. So no, I totally appreciate it. Yeah, I told her, I was like, just grab a notebook and just start, writing down what's important to you or what what you're wanting to research, and make bullet points and stuff, and just get started. And I was like, and please don't do what I did and just compile whatever is in front of you into one notebook, because then you have to start tagging it and writing what's I was like, I was like, actually, don't start at all. Just,
You need to teach Phil and I how to do that because we're terrible.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I've started something
Google
bad,
Drive's
I
my
feel it.
friend. I have
No, I
everything
mean-
stuffed in a Google Drive.
I try to go off memory, or I have it up on the computer. But
Yeah, I'll
my
pull up
memory's about that
50,000
long,
tabs
so-
Yeah.
The goldfish.
Well, my thing is that I always want to circle back, because I always find that I'll be researching something new and realize that something I've already researched is very pertinent to this topic. So I want to be able to go back and hit that old stuff. And it's just an ever evolving mess. So if I were to suggest anything, it would be not to do it. Just fly by the seat of your pants and don't end up to, like to your neck and notebooks everywhere. I don't remember who I was talking to, but I think it was Enzo I was talking to, that my poor kid was going to be the one that's going to have to get rid of all these when I die.
Yeah. I think we were talking about it at dinner yesterday.
No, the government's going to come take them
Yeah.
like they did with.
That's what I said. No, they're going to go in a museum, man.
I know. I just said pile them up on a boat and put me on top of it and set a flaming arrow
Have a
and
Viking funeral.
turn it into a funeral pyre.
there's-
I go up
We're
in like
going to
2
need
seconds.
a cruise ship, dear.
There's too many for the landfill, so they would have to do something like that.
Anywho, oh my gosh, yeah.
We're gonna have
It
to
was
give an
wonderful
aircraft carrier.
meeting you, Chelsea, and we hope to see you again soon. And stay on the chats and come into Bordertown Strange and stuff and hang out with us.
Absolutely.
You'll learn just how kooky we all are.
Yeah, definitely.
Because these
Come and jump in
yahoos
the
join us
chat.
too.
They do.
Oh yeah. And never be afraid to walk up to anybody there at the ParaCon and just start chatting away if you've seen them online
Oh,
or anything like
100%.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. Lord
It's
knows
kinda
poor
cool.
Enzo
Oh.
wished
Oh,
he'd had a run-in with someone.
Yeah, I had a friend she's in the chats on a different show, and she lives up in Northeast Kansas. She's like, I don't think I'll be able to make it. Maybe my daughter will bring me down or whatever. And then I get a text or, through Messenger, I guess, from her. Oh, you were really busy and we couldn't stay that long. So I saw you, though. I saw you get that award thing. But you were talking to everybody and I didn't want to interrupt. So, but then we had to go. So I'll catch you next year. It's like, you were right here. You didn't say something.
Darn it.
Yeah.
You guys, and don't ever be afraid to come up to us because it's a thrill for us too to get.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're amazed anyone wants to know us at all. So you'll make our day.
Well, it's to me, it's pretty cool when somebody says, "Hey, I watch your show," or "I listen to your show," or whatever, because it puts a face to it. It's not an arrogance thing; it's an appreciation thing. You know, I mean, hey, so I'm reaching that one person, and I put a face to it, and you appreciate that because they're giving you their time, whether it's driving down the road or whether it's catching a live or whatever. And I think it's awesome to be able to meet people that listen to our shows.
It is. And to hear, that people are actually listening to our shows and we aren't just talking to ourselves, because a lot of times you do kind of feel like maybe you are, but to hear them come up and say, I've been binging your show and it's great. That's huge. That is, that makes you feel like what you're doing is actually something of substance, It's a good feeling.
Oh, Chelsea said, I'll definitely do my best to attend these lives. ParaCon was phenomenal, and I'll definitely attend again. Please do. And, come hang out with us a little bit. We'll chit-chat with you and stuff. I'm sorry. I couldn't stay with her for very long because I was getting ready to go and start a new panel. So I couldn't talk for very long. And in fact, I believe that Lisa and Lisa Martin and her son Alex were getting ready to head out. They couldn't stay for the entire con, so I was trying to say goodbye to them too at the same time. No, and they said that they had a blast. They were so excited. Yeah, last year Lisa was so upset she was supposed to be there, and then at the last minute she runs the Kendrick House in Missouri over by Carthage. Fantastic place if you ever want to go check out a truly haunted place with some fantastic history to it. Check out the Kendrick House. And it just so happens that the group that helps run those haunted tours and stuff, someone had gotten sick or something and no one could step up to lead the tours that day. So they had to call Lisa in. So unfortunately we lost her last year, but she was super excited to make it this year. And they did have to leave a little early, but they also had a very long drive back over into Missouri and stuff. So we so much appreciate Dark Ozarks coming in.
And we always enjoy them. So
yes,
they're very
Willie's in the chat.
Great people. Hey, Willie.
Hey, Will.
Missed that guy.
Yes, he needs to hop back in once in a while, if only just to hang out with us.
You would think he would just stop by.
He's just too cool for us.
He's too cool for us. Yeah. So the presentations went fantastic, and the panels were so much fun. Like you said earlier, Adrian did our first one, the Science of Ghosts, and holy cow, the size of that panel. So I try to usually keep it at 12, but we were running very late, and before I knew it, I checked the list of signups, and they had gone well beyond the 12. And there was no time to weed that back down again. So I was like, grab some chairs, boys. The more the merrier. Here we go. And that was a panel.
It was a huge panel.
Yeah. There was 15 or 16 on that panel.
Wow.
Crazy big, but it was a really good
It was a good
conversation. Yeah.
It was a very good one. Yeah. And then Scotty headed up our Bigfoot cryptid one, and that one's always so interesting because who isn't interested in Bigfoot and cryptids? Oh my gosh. Just the personal stories of, like our field investigators and stuff, and kind of some of the weirdness that they have seen. I do see that the public size goes down just slightly for those, and I just think because of the topic isn't quite as well known as like hauntings.
Right.
Besides Bigfoot, you don't see any shows on TV that are just devoted to cryptids. There's none.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Truth be told, I wasn't really into Bigfoot until we started this. And you start learning these things, and then you start reading the stories. And I'm kind of into it now. I talked to Scotty when I was leaving. I was like, hey, man, I'm interested if you guys have extra room next time you guys go on an investigation nearby. I want to go check it out. He said, man, I'll talk to Brian and those guys and see if that's okay. He said, you're a pretty cool guy, He said, we've had some, we love Scott. We've had some kind of issues with people going with us, He said, but I'll talk to him. I said, that's fine, man. That's all I'm asking. I'd love to go.
Yeah. Super interesting.
I'd like to go sometime, but traipsing through the woods would only garner me a trip to the hospital, probably.
You can be like Enzo. You get your hover chair.
Hover chair.
We're just whipping right through them woods.
The bug force field that goes around it.
Yeah.
No mosquitoes or ticks on me.
It's a constant 68 degrees.
It reminds me of Wall-E, like the people in the floaty chairs.
Yes, that's what it is.
On the ship. Like, woo.
That's great.
That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, so the last panel, the UFO UAP panel, was led by our Enzo, and even lesser well known. So and Enzo kind of got firsthand experience of this, how little is known about the UFO phenomenon, especially in our area, which is insane because we sit on the 37th parallel.
That's the one question you had for the prizes. That nobody was like for sure what it was. What was
I know, and I chastised them for it too. I was like, "Come on, nobody knows." And the one before that, I asked, what was the date on the Roswell crash? The year. I didn't even ask the date. I asked the year that it happened, and they all looked at me with glazed over eyes, and I was like, "Seriously, people?"
That's not even the one I was referring to. I was referring to latitude. What latitude is known as the UFO highway? I think was your question.
Yeah, and I gave them the hint. I was like, "We're on it."
Dead smack on it.
And we've got UFO sightings almost nightly within 10 miles of this where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah,
nightly.
But yeah, it's a lesser known topic, and the great thing about, so we always put the UFO panel last. Number one, because we love sending people out into the dark, having just listened to crazy alien and UFO stories. But second of all, we do all these fantastic raffles, and we require that you be there to win. So people have spent all day long coming in and out of panels and leaving and coming back and throwing their raffle tickets into these pots, and they really want to be there to see if they win. And what it does is it pushes people into that panel that they wouldn't usually attend. And hopefully having Enzo on the team now, we can start really pushing that topic and see if we can educate not only the public, of course, but also a lot of the teams. We asked that, we asked that ghost hunting teams and that Bigfoot people and cryptid people, everybody come onto these panels, even if it's out of your field. In fact, especially if it's out of your field, because we want your varying opinions. We want you to learn something. We want a really healthy debate. And so perhaps it will help educate even some of these like people who are just ghost hunters or people who are just Bigfoot hunters a little bit more on that field, and they'll all start to see that a lot of these stories touch and a lot of these topics have everything to do with every other topic, and that they actually all work together, which is our tagline. It's all connected. Everything works together. It's all from the same something. We just haven't figured that out yet.
Yep. I think Robert Prevost was talking about that on a panel about how like orbs are the ghost hunters see them, the cryptid guys see them, the UFO guys see them, and so there's got to be a connection. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Yep.
And
we
there's
had
all
portal conversations like that at the party the night before, and he and I have very similar concepts and ideas about all of it. Kind of an idea. So I was glad he was able to speak up and throw that out there during that panel.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that's really what got us started on getting the ParaCon big and bringing everybody together, because we've got ghost hunters who go at from a Christian perspective. We've got ghost hunters that go from the scientific perspective. We got ghost hunters that just go out and do it for fun. We've got cryptid hunters, and we've got UFO guys, and so many of us see some of the same things, and we're just trying to put it all together and to get these people in the same room and communicating to see, we're not so different. We're not so far apart. So
I always like what
down to the truth someday.
I always like what Pam says about it, that we're all seeing the exact same things. We just all have a different word for it.
It is true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
all these different fields just has a different definition of the same thing that we're all seeing. So that's why we have the con. This is why we started it, so people could get together and we could share stories and start to see the likenesses in our field studies, and start working together instead of against each other. Because we actually had this conversation at the con that, just 10, 12, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have found Bigfoot cryptid hunters in the same room with ghost hunters unless they were battling it out.
Yeah, there'd be a fist fight.
It was,
and the same with UFO. Yeah,
strict lines drawn. You didn't really cross camps forever, which is sad, because I mean, look how much it probably impeded growth in these different fields. But it's changed now, and I'm really glad to see it all come together like it has.
The one group I'd like to see come in with us would be the scientists, specifically like the theoretical physicists.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the answers to some of these questions lie in physics and science. And until everybody gets to communicating to one another and sharing their data, I don't think any of these things are really truly going to be answered.
Yep. I need to reach out to Gary Voorhees maybe for next year.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because
that'd be really
UAPX, they've involved scientists and stuff.
That'd be really cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'd freak out.
I love Gary. He's great.
He is. He's great. I've met him a couple times.
He's got his own podcast.
He's super nice.
Space Oddities. Go watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Space Oddities. Go support Gary. Good guy.
We could add yet another podcast to the con.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because Louise did one of those.
It's almost podcast con, really.
Yeah. It's
almost
there.
a podcast convention. We might have to change the name.
Yeah.
There you go. Paranormal PodCon.
That's great.
Maybe that could be a subheading on the church next year. Paranormal PodCon.
Podanormal Con. Yeah.
Podanormal Con. There you go.
Well, you know what? Maybe one of these days we could start a PodCon that was just online.
Yep.
Oh, I like it.
That'd be cool.
A one-day PodCon where different.
We totally should. How fun would that be?
That'd be fun.
Have people filter in and
Yeah, but
out.
guess what? I'm not gonna do it. One of you all.
We're all looking at you.
I'm just gonna go along for the ride.
Good idea, Jess. Get on it. Let us know when to be there.
I'm not here.
I'm gonna pass to Enzo because Mark and I are kind of working on something behind the scenes right now. So
Ooh, okay, Enzo,
Behind
there
the
you go.
scenes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have something pop up. I don't know. No, I'm not.
Oh no.
No, it's
You all
actually
are
there
throwing me under
was
the pod bus.
there's a podcast called Somewhere in the Skies that actually just did that very thing just a few weeks ago, where they had different groups where it was they had the whole game, very much like our ParaCon, where they had some cryptid people on there. They'd do like an hour or 2 hours from their podcast, and then right after that followed up with ghost people and UFO people and all that. So that's and it was very popular. A lot of people liked it. So
I like it.
Very cool.
yeah, Rick
Rick
Lepley
said
Jr.
he would just.
Yeah, said he'd dress up and stand on the corner in an outfit on the corner to bring more people in next year.
the wacky waving guy.
The wacky waving guy.
Rick, I just want you to know that there is a Mothman costume with your name on it now. We'll need you to send us your sizes so we can get it right.
That is hilarious.
My goodness.
We'll call you Mothy, and you can be our mascot. I'm only half joking, really, because they really do have a costume.
Yeah, they do.
They do it. It's super cool looking. Listen to me, super cool. It is. It's super cool.
Super cool.
Super cool.
For someone else to wear and look silly.
For somebody else to wear it.
For somebody else to
Absolutely.
My goodness. All right. So what else did we had vendors. We had so many more vendors this year. And I haven't told all of you yet. I've told a couple of you. So this year we had the pleasure of having Brooke Montoya in, who is a
She was fantastic.
Chelsea, you have a Mothman cosplay costume? Oh my goodness.
ooh, bring it.
Girl.
We're going to make you an honorary member if you wear that.
Mothman's my favorite. Those in the Fresno
She'll come
Nightcrawlers. Do you have a
dancing
Fresno
through.
Nightcrawler outfit? Just a big pair of pants
just-
you can wear.
Just pull your pants up to your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Anyway, I was just saying, Brooke Montoya, we had the pleasure of having Brooke Montoya this year. She is an author and a medium, and she came and she
Technically,
paneled
ma'am.
Mothman.
Mothman. I love it.
She paneled and she sold her books and stuff, and she was just so excited to have been a part of it. She, again, like so many others, talked about how friendly and family-like the atmosphere was. And straight out of the horse's mouth, she was just like, it wasn't stuffy at all. A lot of these cons that I go to are so highfalutin, kind of, too big for their britches. It's very cold. But she was like, but not here. Everybody's so friendly. It's wonderful. And while it is on the smaller size, it's so relaxing just to sit here all day and to be able to watch and hear the panels and stuff and not be stuck in a room somewhere off to the side where you never get to be a part of anything. She actually offered, she has a very large group of friends that do all these cons, these vendors and stuff. And she was like, they would love to come and do this. They're only a couple hours away from you. Do you want me to get you in contact with them? And I was like, yes, please. And she goes, well, there's quite a few of them. And I was like, bring it on. Because I figure if we fill out that side section, then we can certainly start, filtering some stuff around and figuring it out. The more the merrier is what I say.
That's great. Yep. And speaking of Brooke, I got to speak with her a little while, and she's absolutely just super sweet and brilliant. I mean,
she is very, very nice.
She signed my book.
And if you go to the SEK Bordertown Paranormal page, we have put a link up there. She just released her brand new book on the McIntyre Villa today. It's up for sale, and there's a link there that you can click on to go get it. It's just hot off the presses. So get yourself a copy, get yourself one signed,
I will be
and
getting
tell
one.
them, tell Brooke that we sent you.
I pre-ordered one at the ParaCon, so I'm super
should.
excited to get it
I
in.
almost did, but I didn't.
Oh,
I'm a bad
Darn
man.
it.
That one, and I bought her one of her other books as a gift for Karen for over at Doof Doof.
awesome.
So
Yay.
she'll be excited to get that. But yeah, I chatted with her for what I thought I was just going to come by and look at her books because I think it was during Jim's thing, and I was already pretty familiar with his work, so I didn't feel too bad about working some of the vendor areas then. But we ended up chatting for like 25 minutes to the point where she was like, "I'd love to see her talk, but I've really got to go to the bathroom." But
No,
like,
no.
go.
Yeah, she's lovely. And so we actually got more vendors this year than what we had planned. Some of them tagged along with other vendors and was like, "Hey, if you have a spot open, could I set up?" And I was like, "Sign this paper and go get to it." So the more the merrier. We had people who had like 3D imaging. We had the Proudies who were in last year, and they do all the woodworking stuff, Bigfoot, and
laser
oh my goodness,
engraving and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
laser
Yes.
engravings and stuff like that. And the I just lost his name. Lost his name. Jason
Craft?
Roberts. Jason
Oh,
Roberts'
Jason.
team.
Yeah. Road Trip Paranormal.
Road Trip Paranormal. They brought in like their entire team and a huge vending setup full of
They
just
did.
anything you could think of. They had books and
Shirts.
like
They had
crystals
geodes. Yeah.
geodes and necklaces and t-shirts, and they were a great bunch. I loved hanging out with them.
they were fun to
They were
talk to.
I with them
awesome.
more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I sat and talked to Jason out here for a while. I think it's when you were leaving.
Yeah.
We were visiting with him, and just really nice guy to talk to. Really was.
He is.
They were
They got
all
some
really
great stories
really
too.
great.
Yeah. Had some fantastic campfire stories to tell. So yeah, super great. But yeah, the vendors were awesome. And of course, the readers were vendors too, and we already discussed those. And then the
We had-
raffles. Holy cow, the raffles this year.
We had, don't forget, Craig and Ashley from Penn Paranormal. They were there as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't list
Oh, yeah.
everybody was there. So Ellen
Yeah.
was over there, and just wow,
Yeah.
it was great
It
this
was-
year.
It was really good. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like Mark
L&M.
said,
That's
like-
right.
Yeah, L&M. Like we've got like a row and a half left to fill up, and then that whole side of the gym will be full.
I really like
So-
how this year we did the black tables. That kind of separated the vendors from
Yeah,
the actual con and had all of the gift baskets right there that you could look
Well,
at.
it
to
put
raffle.
everybody into one room so you could go browse everything without
Yes.
missing anything.
Yep.
And I had several people tell me that they really liked it that way because with the sound system that two guys in a PA did for us, they could hear everything that was going on. And while they browsed, and they didn't have to miss anything, and they still got to take care of their shopping pleasures.
Definitely
Yeah.
shout out to two guys in a PA. Even though it was just one guy in a PA.
It
Yeah,
was just
it's
one
a-
guy in a
Get
PA.
I mean,
That job.
He was the best guy in a PA.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
there
you
audio
go.
the audio was great this year.
It was really
Yeah.
He had
good.
it tuned in just right this year. It was really good.
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, they've been tweaking with it and stuff and trying to get it just right for us. Plus the microphones, you don't realize until you have to like actually deal with like multiple microphones coming into, just 2 or 3 speakers, how much tweaking. Plus people have different voice ranges, and like one microphone will work great for a low range voice while another one will only work well for a high range voice. And to find that happy medium, yeah, they did a really good job this year, really trying to get that focused in better.
Well,
I know
got
that they
the
also
skill.
got some new covers and stuff for the microphones to kind of help with some of those issues that we were having
The
before.
mic
So,
pop.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's getting better and better.
It was
Yeah.
It
good.
is.
It gets better every year, and I'm excited to have this one done, but I'm also excited to see what we can pull off next year.
Yeah.
We've already got half a dozen things that we're going to fix for next year to make it an even better experience for our speakers and for our public. So
Yeah.
Ken's in the other chat, and he said, I really like the setup, and the big screen TV was amazing. Yes, it was.
Yes.
That was a huge upgrade from
yeah.
from the projector we'd been using.
Another thing that was talked about a couple times, speaking of the two guys in the PA running the sound or whatever, I got a lot of compliments from especially some of the vendors saying how nice it was to have that music playing in between all the panels and stuff like that, because it kept it really festive and fun. And, you know, Mike was really good at playing really good popular songs that just about everybody likes. So there wasn't that bland quiet where you're just listening to chairs move and people chitter underneath. And there were some like good tunes playing in between. So it kind of kept everything upbeat all day long.
Chelsea said, well, next year will be the 7th year for the ParaCon. Yes, it will be.
Yes, it will be. Lucky 7.
Lucky
That's
number
crazy.
7.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's crazy that this is still happening.
Well, I mean,
I can't believe we went from sitting in the library, like 4 of us
With
at a
5
little
people.
table,
All
just
excited.
waiting for one person to come in, all the way to, you know, crazy clipboard lady and jumbo screen TVs and us all pulling our hair out.
Volunteers buzzing around trying to take care of everything.
Yes.
Or
So-
under tents in the rain.
And thank you so much to our volunteers this year and to our paranormal club that we started this year. Without you guys, it would have been a lot harder to make a successful ParaCon.
They did good.
And
Oh,
you guys are
man.
rock stars, and
They show
really
up and they just
special
take
for
on
you.
every task that we throw at them and just did a bang up job.
They were
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it was great.
Jackie said one suggestion would be to have a TV or speaker in the concession area or green room so that they could hear or see the panels as well. That's a good idea.
I can
we
probably
pull that
raise
off?
it. Yeah, I can probably pull that off.
Okay.
Does,
Bluetooth
I'm,
can do
it's
anything.
beyond my pay grade. I have no idea.
No,
well,
Bluetooth, I can do it.
does that DVD player have apps on it like YouTube? You could just play the YouTube feed on it.
Brilliance.
Yeah.
There you
You have
go.
they have a device you plug into a USB port. So
Okay. So like a Roku or something?
it's an Ion. It's probably an Android TV.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Cool.
Do something like that. We are going to fix, so like the concessions next year will not be back in that little nook. We're having issues with having it tucked back in so far, so we're going to pull it forward and it'll be out in the main hall. So you'll literally just walk past the tables coming in and out. So
Yep.
it'll make it a little bit more accessible for everybody. And then the workers who are working concession will certainly be able to step in and hear the panels and stuff going on right there near the doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can always run a secondary. I believe 2 guys and a PA have several radio frequency speakers that they set up,
Oh,
especially when they're
cool.
doing large festivals. So we should be able to set maybe one up towards the back there, or maybe in the
Nice.
hall to kind of help project it just a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Kelsey,
That's a good
or,
idea.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
write that down.
Chelsea had said it's so amazing for a young convention. Thank you so much to everyone involved. Thank you for coming and
Aw,
appreciating
thanks.
it.
thank you.
That's awesome.
We've got improvements slated for our presenters to make things easier for them to show their presentations.
Yes.
I've already got the items in my Amazon cart to make that a success. We're going to go with a mini PC and the presentation clicker so they can stand to the side.
Nice.
It should make things a lot smoother this year.
You know, we do have a like a wrap up meeting afterwards to make notes on everything that we saw this year that we thought we could improve on. But we actually started that from the beginning of the ParaCon. You know, we immediately start taking notes on what we can fix next year.
I've got notes in my phone. And
Oh yeah. Enzo and I were sitting on the back during the cryptid panel making notes to make sure we didn't forget anything.
I got a special Amazon cart for it that I've already filled up. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's
But,
if you're not, you know, like readily fixing errors, you're just going to fall apart. So, and no matter what you do, there's going to be errors and mess ups all along the way.
Oh,
So
something
course,
new
yeah.
is going to crop up every year, and it's just one more thing you've got to account for. But it's
I
a
would be
ball.
more worried if there was no hiccups. That would concern me, because then
what's getting ready to happen?
exactly. I mean,
Did they fire up CERN again?
how stinky is this
Not
whole
again.
production? if nobody,
Yeah.
if something's not going wrong, because
Yeah.
it's just
Well,
how it works.
Something I noticed with you, Jess, was compared to last year, you didn't seem to be doing the Tasmanian devil thing as much, at least that I noticed, just running around.
Yeah. Well, it's now that this was our third year of doing it the big way.
Going big,
yeah.
The first year, I didn't know if I was coming or going. And the second year it was a little bit better. We kind of had one under our belt, so we kind of knew how it was going to go. But this time it's starting to run so much better. And of course we did have our fires to put out, and we had some hiccups here and there, but not only am I knowing better now kind of what needs to happen, but everyone around us, like our team, knows what needs to happen. Yeah. But a lot of these people they're coming back for the second, the third, the fourth time now, and they know how it runs. And like I said before, we're all becoming just kind of one big family. So everybody is pitching in to make sure that things happen the way they should. People are where they're supposed to be. And that it just kind of runs like it should. So I'm not going to say it's getting easier, but it's getting less daunting, because I know
less challenging.
I know if something goes bad, if I foul up in some way, there's at least 6 other people behind me to scoop up the ashes and fix it.
Well, something
or don't at least pat me on the head and say it'll happen next year. Don't worry.
Something I noticed, especially with you, Jess, was the previous years, it seemed like you were trying to run everything in between the panels. You were trying to run panels plus the show and all that. And now I think it's big enough to where other people are stepping in and running the panels. Yeah. And you were focused on, okay, like I noticed, Christy was getting ready to come on, and you went and told Doc, hey, she's got like 10 minutes to be on, and she was in the middle of a healing. Yeah. You know, and you were just kind of the organizer. You're like, hey, this person's got to be on. Let's let them notify them. While everybody else is kind of running the panels and stuff like that from when I was there.
Yeah. But, that really is, that's what it's come down to. And I appreciate that.
Delegate.
That's what I've learned. It's one of the reasons why we decided to do the guest moderators this year, because, it's first started because we knew that Mark was not going to be able to be there. And Mark usually ran the cryptid panel or the UFO panel, and Pam would run one and I would run one. And it just got to be, we knew that Pam was going to have to help with the live feeds. And I'm always stretched so thin if I know that I'm having to organize and moderate a panel. Who's going to take care of what I need to do while I'm moderating. And so we decided, we have so many capable people that can come in and moderate who really know these fields. Why are we, keeping this to ourselves? Let's allow them to bring their knowledge to these panels and create something completely new. Because, they've heard these panels from us time and time again.
And that makes just a better panel, because you've got somebody who, one, coming from a different perspective, two, they're familiar with the field, so they're going to do it different, or they're going to ask good questions, or what have you. But also, if us three run all the panels, we're going to start getting stale.
Yes.
When we invite people that we trust, that we know will do a good job, to come in and give them that responsibility, they meet the challenge. Adrian did an excellent job.
He did.
Really Enzo did an excellent job.
Yep.
Scotty did a great job. It's just, we've got people that we trust and that will do a good job.
We got very capable people for sure. Yeah. So there's no reason not to let them shine.
And we know enough people now that we can rotate them year after year. And just get a different perspective every year, which will help grow and help other people learn more about the different subjects.
Over
Yeah.
in the other chat, Shaw's in there now, and she said she did notice more smiles from Jess and less stress. So yay! And
Yes.
Ken said, just like a phoenix, just keep rising and improving. That's true.
Aw.
Yay!
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, like this is our 3rd year doing it. Next year will be our 4th, and it'll go even more smoothly because we'll know. I mean, we've hit the pitfalls. We have screwed up. We have
Oh
made
yeah.
mistakes, and we learn from them, and we just know better for the next year. And like I said, like getting some guest moderators in, and oh my gosh, the volunteers this year. So I have to give a huge shout out to Alicia Smith, who
Yes.
took care of all the vendors.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it anymore. The only time I had to worry about a vendor is if one came up to me and said, "Where am I supposed to go?" I'd be like, "Go talk to Alicia." I didn't even have to worry about it at all.
Yep.
And to Stacy Huey, who was our star pitcher, she took care of all the volunteers. If somebody needed to switch out, or if they were like, "Hey, I really want to watch this panel. Can you find somebody to like work the concessions for me for an hour?" She was right on it, rotating and making sure everybody had fresh jobs to do so they weren't getting bored. Yeah, it was awesome. And then Jane Harrington, who happens to be my mother, she's always very kind and runs all of our merchandise and the raffle ticket taking, which will drive anyone insane. But she happily does it. Her and usually my daughter heads that table up, and they will take raffle tickets all day long, just ripping tickets. So, and that was the other thing, the raffles this year. Oh my God. So we did our usual.
They were amazing.
They were so good.
So many people gifted us raffles. We had so many, we ran out of space, and we were having to double them up on the table in order to fit them all in. So Ken Romuller gave us a fantastic handmade Ouija board set that he had been gifted at another con or
was
a speaking
it from Ashmore or Biltmore? I can't remember. I think it was Ashmore, wasn't it?
Yeah. Beautiful hand a wood Ouija board set. What else do we have? A lot of the authors gave us books. Brian Terrell gave us 2 books and a huge like Bigfoot enthusiast set, like a full of every little knickknack and fun thing you'd ever want. That one went for wow. That one was full on raffle tickets. The Lepleys gave us a little gift basket full of like Bigfoot goodies too.
It did
very
well.
Cool. Yeah, it did very well. Did we put out a sign up for volunteers? We did. At the we had a paranormal club the weekend before, and that was the big one. Did we do it anywhere else? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did it online. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're interested, just send us a note. Yeah. We'll get you on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Especially if you're going to wear the Mothman outfit.
Yeah. You can come in for the club meetings. The club meetings are at the Caney Library at 2 p.m. every 3rd Saturday of the month.
Yep. Shaw's in the other chat. She said that Pam was so smiley too and less stressed, and Jason Alexander was there to help out as well, which he did. He stepped up and helped with some of the technical issues we were having. He did.
Hey, look at it. Did you try restarting it? I'm just saying. It's like,
we were just like, are you kidding me?
And it worked.
Between all of us and none of us. That's just like the big joke, you know.
Did you try turning it off and on again?
IT, yeah. From IT crowd. IT. Did you try turning it off and on again? That was a horrible British accent. I'm so sorry.
She also had what was the one the cozy rainy day ghost?
Oh
yeah. That one was mine this year. So I lucked into a beautiful Ouija fleece blanket that I almost kept for myself, but I decided not to. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know about all of you. Well, I know about all of you, but everyone at home and everyone listening, fall is my favorite time of year. Of course, because I love Halloween, but who doesn't love like a rainy, cool fall day, and you don't have anywhere to go? Maybe it's a weekend, you don't have any work, and you just stay in your pajamas and curl up in a snuggly blanket and pick up your favorite like scary book with a hot cup of cocoa or coffee or something and just blow a sundae. You know what I mean? That's like my favorite thing to do. So I decided to put together that haunted rainy day pack, and it had the fleece blanket in it and a tote to put everything down in, along with a large like skull mug and a smaller like coffee mug, and I found the Dead Bones Coffee Company. If you have not heard of them, go check them out. They had some fantastic flavors. I believe I grabbed the caramel spice one. And a hot vanilla tea for those who don't like coffee, and a wonderful scented candle with ghosts all over it. Smelled delicious. But I was like, man, that's a Sunday afternoon.
That was my favorite. Out of all the raffles, that was my personal favorite.
Yeah.
It was very well curated. Good job, Jess.
Thank you. Yeah, it has one of my favorite ones in it. It had the Mammoth book of haunted tales. It's one of my favorite books. It's just got a fantastic collection in it. Nice short stories, so you're not getting bored. But they're just spooky enough to be like, ooh,
Yeah.
that one was crazy.
That's all.
But yeah, we had fantastic raffles this year.
Did the one guy win his own raffle item at one
That was
point?
Rick. Rick's in the chat. Yes, he did, but he did it for a reason. He had a very specific reason.
Yeah.
He wanted to win it so he could gift it to Stacey Huey's son, and that's Cord. And he comes in and is in on our Bordertown Strange a lot for notebook games. He loves notebook games, and he loves paranormal everything. So I think Cord is 7. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Sure.
So Cord isn't old enough to come to the con yet. Our ParaCon, you have to be 12 or older to come in, solely because we talk about very adult topics. Some of the stories are scary, and we have very passionate guests sometimes, and I don't want to subdue their language. So we've just made it 12 and over. Plus, we've actually had this discussion before. I think 11, 12 is right at that perfect age when you're starting to really develop your love and appreciation for the paranormal. So that's like kind of the perfect time to get you started, to be like, this is the world we're looking at here. You know, this is some of the crazy stuff that happens. What do you think? It's kind of the perfect age for that. I mean, that was the age for me. I mean, I loved it before then, but 11, 12 was when I started getting to like goosebumps and like picking up the paranormal books at the library, and is Bigfoot real? And that's just kind of the perfect age for that.
The time I picked up Van Durgen. So yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said a second ago about the language and all that. I understand that, but I have not heard anything offensive or anything.
No, they're usually pretty good.
They are.
Yeah, but innuendos happen and things like that,
Right.
and I don't want to hinder our guests.
Right. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Poo-pooing that. I'm just saying.
Sometimes there are some graphic descriptions of death.
Everyone does remain very respectful though, and it's really it's refreshing.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
No, I filtered a few of my things.
Yeah. You filter it. And another thing is and this is sometimes as no fault to the parent, but we get cranky kids and stuff who don't want to sit through an hour and a half long presentation on a hard surface. And we'll start struggling and whining, and infants will cry. And I don't want panels interrupted by what children do. That's what they do. So it's easier that way. And we look forward to the day when Cord turns 12 and gets to take a step.
Cord can't wait. Yeah, the EPP and Geeks that came up, that's Shauna. She's like, she had to come over to YouTube so we could see her in the chat.
Yay.
And Rick, yes, he did get that for Cord. Even if I didn't win it, awesome. I would have made sure he ended up with something, because he is the future of this. Yes, he is.
Yep. Cords are like our unofficial, like junior ghost hunter.
He is.
No, he gets it. He's into it.
I know Friday night, everybody's kind of sharing their stories and stuff, and my kids were out there. My daughter's 7, and she's like getting a little bit nervous, a little scared.
Oh, no.
And, she jumped up in my lap. I'm like, well, if you don't want to hear it, we'll take you inside. You can turn on Scooby Doo, whatever, And she's like, no, I want to hear more. I'm like, I don't want you to, if they're going to tell more, you can't. You're not sleeping with us. I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that right there, it was just some fun little campfire stories we were telling.
Right.
So I don't want
Right.
kids getting scared or hearing something they're not ready for yet.
For sure.
Yeah,
Right.
and
She's
some
like,
are
"Can
and
we
some
make
aren't. So I mean,
Yeah.
But by the
Yeah.
time 12 rolls around, they should all be pretty much ready for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're about ready at 12 to kind of start hearing the creepier side of things, or and you're at a better cognitive age to start to grasp some of the concepts we'll be talking about. You probably won't get them completely, but you can start to kind of grasp and kind of see in what direction it's going. So I think it's the perfect age to start them off on. And 12 is old enough to really take care of yourself, so we're not worrying about them running the vendor tables and knocking something over, or I'm perfectly fine with them grabbing tons of candy and stuff in their mouth and watching the ghost panel. So at the age of 12.
Absolutely. And I will sell them that candy.
Exactly.
And that's the cool part too. Everything that is other than the vendors, everything that you see for sale, like the concessions and things like that, all that money and the programs that we had this year, all that turns around and goes right back into the ParaCon. Yeah, you have to hold up one of the programs and show them. They came out so good. We're so proud of them.
They did. They come out.
Yeah,
really
so they came out really great. We sold ads this year to kind of help cover the cost of them. You can see those towards the back. This one's a new one. It's hard to open. But we've got, there's all of our podcasts, and there's ads and stuff that the businesses put in. And this had everything in it this year. They went over really well. And we only had them for $1 a piece, just to kind of help cover the cost of them too, and bolster the con. Like Pam said, everything we sell there through us, that money goes right back into the ParaCon the next year to keep it free. Yep. We don't want to charge at the door. We're going to keep it free for as long as we can.
And we don't make money. We don't make enough to cover the costs. We all. I've pitched in several $100s. I know you guys have pitched in several $100s each. So what we bring in just supplements what we're already paying in. It pays for the venue and a few other small things, and we foot the bill for the rest. And that's just so we can bring everybody together. For a lot of us, it's the big event of the year. I know it is for us, and I love planning it all year long.
Yeah, it's fun. And we get down like that last 3 months. We're like every weekend.
Every weekend
together.
And not only is it great to plan, it's great to, not that we need one because we're adults, but it's nice to have an excuse for us all to get together and chat.
Yeah.
So it's really brought us all closer together. And closer together with the people in the community. It's just grand.
Yeah.
Shaw said maybe the vendors that are selling stuff could pitch in about $25 for their spots. Yeah, maybe so.
They could, but like I said, we're trying to keep it free for as long as possible. So like Pam and I, we come from that world of vending. We're both artists, and we have spent the last 10, 15, 20 years going to art shows and paying the highest price booth prices only to sell not even a quarter of what we needed to cover that, and just being let down. It's terrible. And if someone had offered us a free spot and been like, hey, just come and join us, you may not get a ton of foot traffic, but it's free and you can break down when you want. Just come and enjoy the day, and you get to sit here and listen to these fantastic speeches and these panels and stuff. Pam and I would have been like,
we would have been all over it. Absolutely all over it.
And I think that's why we're getting such a good response from the vendors. They do get to attend for free, and they get to take away as much as they give us. So they get to, since they're in the same room, they get to enjoy the con.
Yep.
And then make enough money to at least make it worth their while.
Yeah.
And this year, and I think it's Shaw. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Has it been all the last 3 years? She live streams too on her Facebook and not Facebook, but YouTube and Twitch, I believe. And so we're getting out on a whole separate group of people that we don't even know. So I think that's great too.
It's absolutely.
Anywho,
We love you too, Shaw.
The con was fantastic this year. So yay for everybody who helped make it happen. Yay for all of our volunteers. Yay for all the panelists and speakers that came in, especially the ones that drove from so far away on their own dime. Thanks to Phil for putting on the night before party. And of course, thanks to everybody on my team, because we spend a year putting this thing together and Lord knows we start losing our minds about August. And then it's just a downward spiral from there. But it's okay, because we're going to rest up for this week. We're probably going to have a meeting this weekend to do a follow-up. You know, what can we fix? What can we do for next year? We're going to break for a little bit, do our case files by candlelight at the library on the 18th. Yep. And then we're probably going to get into some investigations finally, pick up where we started. And then what Enzo and Scotty don't know is that we have an end of year Christmas party.
Oh yeah,
that we're going to plan for, and we've got like a secret Santa thing going on too. It's going to be fun to add 2 more into the mix on that. We just do a day. We go to Pam's house and we just we spend like a Saturday or Sunday just watching really great, you know, like paranormal TV, or I think last year we spent all day watching Graham Hancock.
Yeah, was it Graham Hancock, or was it who was it?
Was it? I know we spent a couple of weekends watching Graham Hancock.
We did. No, this was somebody else though. Was it on History?
I don't remember.
Was it?
But we watch shows like that, and we just put out a spread of food, and we exchange gifts, and we just watch that kind of stuff and just eat for an afternoon and just enjoy, kick our feet back and enjoy.
No ParaCon, no cases, no nothing. Just
chill
have
out.
fun, be friends.
Sounds awesome.
And almost everybody got cat balls last year, which was hilarious.
It was.
It was.
The ones you touch and then they go off.
Well, that even sounded worse, Mark. Maybe we need to clarify even further.
Shot of penicillin will take care of that, I think.
Oh no! All right. Well, you know, it's starting to get a little late. Did you guys want to do any of the notebooks before we head out?
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
do 2 or 3. Yeah.
So we'll have to explain to them what notebooks are.
We're not going to play the normal notebook game. We're not playing the normal game. We're going to play the Fringe version.
Oh,
okay. So
nice.
Mark and I actually came up with this once. You were gone, and we needed something to do really quick because you were supposed to carry most of that topic we were going to do that day. So we invented a version of the notebook games. So what we do is we allow the chat rooms to pick a page and a book like we usually do. And I open it up to that page, but I don't read what's on that page. I just tell you the topic that's on that page, and then we have to discuss it. Ooh. Yeah. Like 5 or 10 minutes on that topic. Everybody chuck in what you know. We'll discuss it a little bit and then move on. I think we have time to probably do like a couple maybe. If we try to keep it short. So are you guys up to the challenge? Because there will be excited in there.
I'll just act like one of my panel members.
You do that.
You're just going to check
be
out.
Good.
Or if you do this.
All right. So everybody in the chat, I have 5
notebooks.
Fair.
I'm kidding to my panel members.
So all you have to do is pick up notebook 1 through 5, and then pick a page number 1 through 75. And whatever topic is on that page, we will discuss. Okay, so Riff wants
notebook 3,
page 13. Okay. Counting through.
Shaw said the same thing. Notebook 3, page 13.
Oh, wow.
Wait, no cheating.
What? Wow.
Cross-platform cheating at that.
Chelsea almost got the same. She said notebook 3, page 1. She's just missing the 3 on the end. That is weird.
That is weird.
Okay. So this page is on President Eisenhower signing the secret treaty in 1954 with the alien race known as the Greys, the Greta Treaty. So let's discuss.
That book is actually on my wish list on Amazon. I just have not got it yet.
That is weird, Shaw.
The only thing that I really know about it is the treaty was supposedly for technology. They were allowed to take so many people a year. That's all I really know about that topic.
As I recall, they said, well, you can take people, but you need to give us a list of names. We need to know who it is that you're taking. But you can take what you like, as long as we get goodies. Right. And in the end, they didn't get what they were promised. They basically, they're taking people, but we didn't get the tech that was promised, as I understand it.
Yeah. They like formed an entire committee that the aliens were supposed to answer to when it came to taking people, and they called them the Majestic 12.
Yeah.
And they had to report to them. And supposedly Eisenhower had this entire treaty done up where it was kind of a give and take thing. You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours. And supposedly there was quite a more people involved with that than just Eisenhower. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess the original idea is it was presented by whoever the aliens were, that they were just going to do like a basic, quick physical exam on some people, just some specific, just they didn't make it sound like it was going to be a big deal. They didn't make it sound like it was, as it turned out, were these horrific experiments that were very invasive and tracking hardware and everything else that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there we go. Does anybody else have one that they want to do?
There's a couple more in the chat.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Sylvain's
let's
got
do
one,
it.
I think.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sylvain, Notebook 2, page 8.
Which one was it?
Notebook 2, page 8.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I skipped Chelsea. Chelsea was up further. With no big. Well, we'll get Chelsea. We'll get you next. Okay. Sorry about that.
We got time. We'll do it next. Okay. Oh, this is Delphos ring.
Oh.
Ooh.
Pam should be able to talk.
Recent.
Right? I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this one.
Yeah. That
So Delphos ring, 1971, in Kansas. For those of you who don't know, it's one of the most famous UFO encounters ever in Kansas.
Yep.
Who wants to go?
It was a young boy. I think his name was Ronnie. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he was on his family's farm, and he was feeding the goats, if I remember correctly, when he heard a noise kind of sounding like a washing machine, like the tub was, moving back and forth. And so he poked his head out to see what it was, and he saw this small craft kind of lift off and kind of wobble off, basically. And he called his parents, and they came out and actually witnessed it as well. And they noticed that on the ground that there was a ring.
It glowed.
Yes, it glowed, and the mother touched it and ended up her hand or her fingers went numb for like 2 or 3 days after she touched it.
Why she touched it, I have no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't have touched it, but they did have
I totally would have.
Yeah, Mark would. Yeah,
we know you have, Mark.
Okay.
She did have the peace of mind to grab a Polaroid and take some photos of it, so they had almost instant photos of it. Mm-hmm. And there was an investigator that was actually pretty close to the area, and he was out there within a month of the time that this occurred, and so he was able to get some really good information gathering done on it.
That's something I'd like to note. When you look at the pictures, I've got the pictures up here for those of you who are listening to this. You can come back and look at the lives on Facebook. The circle on the ground isn't completely round, and the descriptions of it, to me, it looks almost like a jellyfish. Yeah. And I'm wondering if this wasn't some sort of biological creature, maybe not from this earth, or maybe not from this, reality.
Yeah.
Well, and that would explain the numbness in the because jellyfish often put out a toxin
That
that causes numbness or stinging. So I find this one really fascinating.
It's very compelling.
And I find it like it's compelling to me that there's life somewhere out there that we don't recognize as being intelligent. And it may not be intelligent if it is an animal. It may have just been stopping to rest, and then the kid scared it off.
Yeah, and I think Enzo, at the time that we did this one, you had made the comment that you thought that the trees where it was different than what you had pictured in your mind.
I was surprised that where the trees were it was very closed in. It wasn't like if this is a spacecraft, it's going to land, and it was next to some trees. And I'd always seen like those close-up pictures of the ring where the trees are right up against where the ring is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all the way around like that. So this is something that almost would have had to come like straight down and kind of sit amongst the trees, because there's almost not quite exactly
almost like it was hiding or something.
Yeah, like it was trying to camouflage itself.
And when it did like pick up and take off, didn't it like bang into the building next to it or something like that?
I don't recall, but I do know that picture that you were showing where, Mark, you had noted that it wasn't a true circle. It was kind of off on one side. That is something that is noted in a lot of things. And it's like it had taken off at kind of a tilt. And it seems like some of that came back and matched the descriptions they were giving of what they had witnessed, matched what was on the ground.
It was like a blowback from taking off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Did you see what Chelsea said? So the Kansas jellyfish, wonder if it knows the Oklahoma octopus.
It might.
Mark,
that's funny.
Was it last ParaCon or the ParaCon before that guy came and talked to us a little bit about a UFO or something he saw that, I don't know if it's, I can't remember exactly if it sprayed something on him or whatever, but it burnt his skin.
Oh, wow.
I remember that. It was the ParaCon before last.
Yeah, it was just outside of Caney, a few miles.
What was out in the Tyro area where they're seeing UFOs?
Oh, okay.
And Dogman.
I know what you're talking about.
And Dogman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about this one is they covered it up because they were tired of people coming onto their property or asking to see it. So they went ahead and covered it. And then what was it, about 20 years later, they uncovered it. It was still there. And they took more samples. Yeah. And it's, as far as I know, it's covered up again, but it's still there. You know, and it's just like it's almost permanently marked the ground where it was.
Did they find some unknown compounds?
They did. Yes, they did. And they took soil samples and were able to side by side grow. I can't remember if it was wheat or soy, but whatever they grew, it was like a total difference in the same soil. Just one had the saturation in it from whatever this thing was, and the other did not. And it was really fascinating to see the
I don't think grass ever grew back there until they covered.
No, it did not. Yeah.
So.
All right. Do we want to do another? Which one did Chelsea want? Notebook 3, page 1.
Yes. Yep. Let's do Chelsea.
All right.
It is, though, an interesting story. You got your money's worth on that one, though. Whoever picked that one.
That's a good one.
That's true.
That is a good one.
Okay.
And I'm only at half brain capacity, and I remembered part of it. So yay.
This is.
And the book is on Amazon.
It's a good book.
What am I talking about here? Oh, this is more of the Giants in America.
Sweet.
It's just a listing. It's more listings of Giants in America. I don't know. Did you guys just want to kind of talk on Giants in America for just a little bit, or?
So, Enzo, tell us about your future wife.
My future wife, the red-haired giant from Lovelock.
Yes, that one.
That's a whole other action, and I never did hear the story from her about that, anyways. But there throughout, especially the late 1800s, there were a lot of discoveries of giant skeletons in various places because they're doing construction, building little towns and stuff like that. And they come across this giant. And when I say giant, we're talking like in the
8 feet plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of area where they're not, 50-foot woman stuff. But this is, certainly, taller than average, especially for that time. Finding a lot of that. And there's a lot of Native American stories from many hundreds of years ago of giants coming by, different from Bigfoot. They were just like giant humans that would maraud and actually capture their people and eat them. They were cannibal. Well, I guess cannibals if they were the same species. But there's one famous story in Arizona, Nevada, around where the Lovelock Cave is in the western part of Nevada, where they're very nearby is a big lake, and all of the local tribes decided, hey, we're going to work together on it. We certainly have our beef, but my enemy, your enemy, let's work together on this. And they basically started corralling all of these giants and drove them all into the lake. Anytime one of them would get up near the shore, they're just firing arrows and spears at them, driving them back into the lake to drown them. But there was a small group of them that did manage to square it away from the crowd, and they ran up to some local caves, Lovelock Cave, and went and hidden there. And they picked up everything that would burn, every twig, every shrub, every piece of driftwood or whatever, and jammed it into that cave and lit it on fire. They were going to burn them up. And they didn't have any problems from the giants after that. So,
amazingly so, yes.
Yeah. When you exterminate all of them, they don't come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and they've been
giants in America are a huge topic for us. So, one of these days we'll do a Bordertown Strange on it.
We need to.
Hey,
I've got a stack of
books. Didn't they send
this
scientists to
starting on there?
Didn't they send scientists to go? Where did all of those end up? You think?
Into the hole we call the Smithsonian.
Right? The Smithsonian.
We need to have it. We need Enzo. You need to come up with a really good sound to go along with every time we say Smithsonian, like it's a villain sound.
Oh yes,
like a falling sound or something.
Boo!
Yeah. Boo! Yeah.
That's a start, sir. That's a start. I think just
all right.
Evil, creepy music will be
evil, creepy music. Yeah. Do we have any more, or are we
we've
done?
Actually got one more.
Okay, let's do the one more, and then we'll end it because I know Phil's got to be getting tired, and he's probably not eaten yet.
I haven't eaten yet.
Notebook 5.
He needs something to eat. He's wasted away. He's lost a lot of weight since my last.
Yeah, he looks good.
I know. I kept calling him half a Phil, so.
I know it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it had been a while since I saw you the other night, and I was like, "Where's the rest of you?"
I lost it.
Where'd it go
to the woods, and only one of them came back.
That's right. Had a long talk.
Okay. So we're actually gonna have to shorten the amount of people that talk about this. This is about Osage Hills. Osage Hill haunting. So Catman, the mansion, all of that, and this stuff that we're talking about is just outside the Caney area here. So although I'm sure Enzo and Phil have heard us talk about it enough, they could probably touch a little bit on it.
Oh
yeah.
A little caveat to that. We are I don't have it started yet, but we're in the process of filming our outings, and we're talking about going down to Osage Hills.
Oh, nice!
And camping and hiking down there. So I'm like, maybe I can get something.
Yeah,
so.
I can loan you some equipment if you need it. The meter.
So, yeah. The Osage Hills. So the Osage Hills for us are literally just down south and to the west, just ever so slightly from us. You always hear us talking about the Sand Hills. The Sand Hills become the Osage Hills. It's all part of kind of the same scape. It's just that the rock features kind of change a little bit. It goes from sandy rock into granite, limestone, and quartz type of a situation down that way. Both sections have very old lore and legends to them. They're very steeped in old Native American stuff. We've got little people and, your regular ghosts. You've got Bigfoot. We have the Catman, who we've discussed before, I believe, on here, who was actually a real person. It was a escaped Delaware Indian. He had escaped from a local jail. They thought he had perished over the winter, but he had not. He'd actually made it and was living out of a cave out in the Osage Hills. And he was actually eating people from the area. Caney lost 3 people to him. They finally tracked him down one day and found what was left of the people up in this cave, and they killed him and disposed of him. But his legend lived on as like kind of the boogeyman. Yes. And it actually got mixed with the Bigfoot that is in the area too. Yep. So it's kind of all one and the same. We also have Labadee Mansion out in the Osage Hills, which has become this supposedly the most haunted mansion in Oklahoma. The stories to it aren't completely true, but the legend has built up around it so much, and so many people actually fear this place that it's kind of created sort of a tulpa situation where it has kind of been haunted by everyone who is so unnerved and scared by it. So we have that out there, and so much more than that. And of course, the movie that came out last summer, Killers of the Flower Moon. That is an absolutely true story about the oil rights being taken away from the Osage Indians and the murders and all the things that happened with that. So there's literally blood soaked into those hills. With that comes every kind of crazy legend and cryptid. And in fact, you've heard us talk about the Not-A-Deer before. Another teammate of ours saw it in the Osage Hills. That's where he was when he saw that Not-A-Deer. So now, Pam, crazy place.
Your Bigfoot sighting, was that in the Sand Hills or was that in the Osage Hills?
It was in the Sand Hills. It was just like right outside of Caney, right where you go over the Caney River. It was just on the west side of there.
Yeah, but it's only like 3 miles from the Osage Hills.
Yes, it's right there. Interestingly enough, the other night, we were talking to Jason Roberts, and Ashley was there with her husband Craig, and then their friends Leah from L&M. She had me tell her the disappearing house story, so I was telling her that story. It is so wild, and it morphed into the Bigfoot story, which happened very close in that same area. And I turned to Craig and I was like, as a matter of fact, Craig's sister, Shelly, was one of my best friends in high school. She was driving the car the night that we saw it. So I was in the passenger seat. She was the driver. So she and I were the ones that had eyes straight on that thing. The other 2 in the back seat saw it, but not nearly as full on as what we did. And she still talks about it. And Craig was like, yeah, absolutely, she does. And he said, by the way, my parents just recently saw a Bigfoot right in that same area. We didn't have that story, so Brian doesn't have that story either. And, then Ashley reminded him that that was the year that we got married, so it was actually 10 years ago that they saw this thing. But, time flies when we start to get older. But, so there's a whole nother story right there in that same area. So it's still active, which we knew it was still active, but that's just another one to add in.
Yeah, it's a really squatchy area down there. I mean,
it is.
Trees are thick. There's plenty of food.
There's time slips right through that area. Yeah. There is ley lines. There's 2 big ley lines that go through there.
A river.
There's a river. There's lots of quartz in the sandstone out there. So there's a lot going on. And right, yeah, we tried to get Enzo to buy this property. It's no longer for sale, but we were like, if you do it right here, it's right in the middle of everything. And he was like, no.
Right.
That would be a
Lame.
negatory.
I would have bought it for a decent price.
Yeah, it was a little pricey for sure.
It
Our
But
own little,
it's a
Southeast
fascinating area
Kansas
out there.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Yep.
And if you take all that in mind, you've got a point, Phil. We're right on 37th parallel. That runs right smack on it.
Mhm.
So
Literally from
Yeah.
where you saw your Bigfoot and from your disappearing house is a matter of just a few hundred yards.
yeah, it's not even. It's
Yeah.
no more than a quarter of a mile. Can't be
Yeah.
more than a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
And I will say the 37th
Yeah, that was it, Rick.
parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 37th parallel is what separates the Sandhills from the Osage Hills.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's how they.
It travels
separated
right through. Yeah.
when they were mapping out the states that they ran. The 37th parallel ran. What is it? Oklahoma, Kansas, and then Colorado, and all of those are run right. That's why there's that line right through there. That's so straight. It's because that's just how they laid them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting place for sure. It's really fascinating. One of these days,
All right.
we hope to, if we don't solve it, at least make progress on it.
All right. Are we good on the
That it?
notebooks? Are we
That
done
was
for the
fun.
evening?
I like doing it that way. That's a cool way to do it.
Yeah. It gives me a break too, and I'm not just reading from the page. It gets a little boring after a while. So if
Yeah.
we give a little discussion instead, it's kind of nice. Kind of refreshes all of us on past topics a little bit.
You guys in the chat, you'll have to let us know. Did you like it that way?
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, we
Mark,
lost
what's
Mark.
that on?
Mark's like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Bye-bye.
folks,
Yeah.
fantastic job this year on the ParaCon. It was
Yeah,
great. I felt
Yeah.
it ran
Catch up.
quite smoothly. There were certainly a couple hiccups, but nothing that we didn't overcome rather quickly, I feel.
Yeah, we were told that it didn't show. So that's good. That's always good. We can panic all we want as long as it doesn't show.
Sylvain
everybody
said
loves
it's
it.
the way we should do it.
Aw, awesome.
We all talk about it.
Thank you for joining us, Chelsea. I told you wouldn't regret it if you
Yes,
hopped
for
onto the
sure.
lives. Make sure. So next week will be Bordertown Strange, and it's just going to be Pam and Mark, whoever else she invites on. I'm going to be gone. Well, yeah, next week, right? Yeah, next week is my vacation.
Is it next week? Oh my gosh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Next
I gotta get
Wednesday.
to work on that, don't I?
So, yeah. I don't know what topic they're going to choose, but I'm sure whatever they do in my absence will be fabulous. I'm going to be kicking my heels up or, putting my feet up because I'm
Yay.
need a little
Yeah.
break because I'm getting ready to come into the Halloween season. And anyone who knows me knows that I've got the Nightmare on Bradley to put together. We've already started pulling everything out of storage. Oh my gosh.
So what's
It's
new
a
this year?
lot. Well, the big thing right now is Beetlejuice. That's what the kids are clamoring for. And we do every year we put out a brand new front feature, something fantastic at the very front that you get to see when you first walk in. And we try to change it every year, so it's a big surprise. Because we don't put it out all month long. We start setting up the week of, and it is fully lit and ready to go the night of Halloween. So that's the first time a lot of these kids are seeing it. And this year it's going to be Beetlejuice themed, but I can't say what the front feature is going to
Yay.
be because that would
So
ruin
cool.
it.
Yep.
So if you want to know,
Exciting.
you have to show up, Phil, and get your
Show up.
funnel cake.
Well, I know it.
Woohoo.
By all means. I mean, if you have kids or don't have kids, swing by. It's awesome. It's been awesome
is.
every year.
It's fun.
It is,
We are
it
moving
is.
it partially into the backyard this year because it's gotten so big. We're gonna have to start wrapping
wow.
it back behind the
Oh,
house.
nice.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
come by, walk through.
So is this going to be Beetlejuice 1 themed or Beetlejuice 2 themed?
I think it's gonna be Beetlejuice all themed.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys know, but they made a Beetlejuice cartoon in the 90s.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Right?
We
yeah.
watch it every
Hey,
morning.
Martha.
I have the girls. We watch it. It's on Me Tunes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everybody who knows me knows I paint a lot of cutouts and stuff for the kids of all their favorite, like Tim Burton cartoon characters and stuff like that. And the cutouts that I've made are of the cartoon Beetlejuice, Lydia, and the Dietzes and stuff. So it's the cartoony fun versions, but we will have like the movie versions added in with some of this stuff too. So you'll just have to wait and see. Come and snack on some funnel cake and get some candy and walk through and see what all we have this year.
Yep.
Rick said, did someone say funnel cake? Yes. Yes, they do.
Yep.
They have
I
candy
will
and
be
funnel.
stopping
A
by.
lot of funnel cake. How much funnel cake did you go last year?
Last year we went through 30 pounds of dry funnel cake mix, and this year we bought 40. We're going to have to cap it at 40 though, because we can only make so much within so many hours. So
Yeah, the fryers
we're going to cap
just
it
can't
at
keep up.
40. And that, well, I mean, we just can't make enough fast enough. That's as fast as we
Yep.
can make them. So when it ends, it ends. So we've sold, well, I shouldn't say sold because we don't sell them. We ran out last year and the year before, like right at the tail end. So you have to get here. Although I do say, if you're going to come, I know you want to come early to get the funnel cake faster, but you really need to come after dark because
Yes, that's the best
everything
time.
is just lit. So,
So
you
what
miss
was your
out.
rough head count last year? Do you remember?
No, I know. So last year we had 863.
That's amazing.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of people.
That is
That
amazing.
is a lot
Now,
of people.
if you're outside of Caney and you want to bring your kids, or if you just want to come, it's, Jess has Nightmare on Bradley, but the whole town goes all out. We still do the door to door, handing out, passing out candy. We have a house in town that just does cotton candy. It's done it since before I was a kid, and I'm 55, so they've been going. They've just passed it down
through the
generations.
family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have all kinds of fun stuff. The library gives out popcorn, candy, and a book. And they do all the churches do trunk or treat downtown, and
fire station.
the
whole
fire
downtown's
station hands
closed off
out.
for trick or treaters.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. And the best part, this is my favorite part. There's 3 churches in town that offer for kids who maybe have parents who work late or have parents that maybe can't get around that well, or, live with their grandparents. They can be taken and dropping off at these churches in their costumes with their bags, and they load them up on these big, huge hay rack rides, and they drive them through town, and they
Yeah.
stop block by block and let all these
Wow.
kids off to get their candy and trick or treat and load back up, and they keep going, and then they take them back to the church at the end, and they give them a little mini party at the end
Right.
Cool.
before they send them off back home. So for all the kids who can't get out because maybe they have parents who work and stuff, they still have the opportunity to go trick-or-treating. So
Yeah.
Caney's
With adult
awesome.
supervision.
With
Yes.
adult supervision.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very safe.
I'm just imagining seeing the hayride thing stopping into a little community and just
Oh my gosh.
candy locusts
Yeah.
coming out and wiping
Like-
out all of the candy.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
what happens. We
That
see
is-
them coming,
Whatever.
the library, because
Yeah.
that's where I work. We see them coming a block away, and we're like, okay, get ready. Here they come. Here's the next wave,
Yeah. You
Buckle
can
up your
they
helmets.
light them.
Yep.
They decorate up the big long wood trailers and they fill them full of hay so all the kids have seats, and
Yep.
there's 3 of them that come through. You hear them coming. Oh, they always know. I always know when they're coming because they can see us from about 2 blocks away. They can see the glow, and we have a jack skeleton that stands 25 feet, so it's up over the tree line, and I always know when they finally see us because you hear them scream from 2 blocks away. Yeah, because they know they're getting ready for some funnel cake. So
One of our team members, Mike, he's in the other chat, and he said that Penny and Whitney handed out 200 trick or treat bags last year on their side of town.
Wow.
yeah,
That's
Yeah, I absolutely
great.
believe it.
Yeah.
Our next
very
door
cool.
neighbors learn very quickly because whatever kids come to our house are going to go to their house, so they had better stock up.
And they rise to the occasion too in your neighborhood, so that's
They
really
do.
cool.
Yeah,
Chelsea
in
said
fact,
true
since we-
Halloween's horror, a swarm of
Yeah.
candy-hungry children. That's the truth.
Yeah. Since we started doing it, the whole neighborhood has picked up and has started decorating. And it's just, I'm hoping one day it turns into an entire like street or, a couple of blocks full where you can just go through and every house is decorated and lit. It should be fun. So
That's awesome.
It's so great to be able to give the kids, you know, our kids and grandkids the same kind of thing that we had, because not everything's the same as it used to be, but to be able to preserve this one thing in our little town, that's really, really special, I think.
It is. And the town should be proud of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Do we need to get going? I know Phil's probably getting.
it is.
I'm
is
exhausted.
I'm good.
Almost
9 o'clock, straight up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Won't be any what if tomorrow next week because I have a soccer game. We got a few more weeks and we're done. So we'll be back with that. Mark's been doing an awesome job holding down the fort. So
Hey.
Thank you so much. I've had the best help available.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, with that, everybody have a good night, and we will see you in 2 weeks here, and we will see you a week from Wednesday.
Yes.
On Bordertown Strange.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
I don't remember, but it'll be cool. Whatever it is.
It is always cool. It is always cool.
Maybe you can grab up Lisa Martin and do an interview.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not a
We'll
bad
figure
idea.
something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it is about Halloween season, so that sounds about right.
It is. It's getting
So-
close.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. Well, with that being said, good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Like,